Hi. So, I just wanted to pop on really quick and let you know that my schedule is changing a bit, I think. I don't know. So, for that reason, I'm going to close my books for personal readings for the time being. Obviously, the people who already have readings scheduled, nothing changes for you. We will do those readings on those dates and times, but I'm just not going to take any new bookings, at least for right now. So obviously, I will let you know if that changes. We're talking about May. Shouts out to you, May babies, Taurus and Gemini. I'm a cusper. My birthday is on the 20th. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the reading. We're going to be using the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. And then we're using this tarot deck. I need to find the name of it. It doesn't come with a book, which is really annoying to me, but I'll figure it out. I'll Google it because I have no clue. I got it a couple years ago. So without further ado, and obviously because of my schedule, the videos are going to come out probably a bit more sporadically. Just an FYI on that too, if you care. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay. Pisces. So I started doing your video, and then it was like just like that. Like the energy was gone for it. So I stopped. I think part of it too was just like me pushing myself because I didn't put out a video, I think for 2 days maybe. Or honestly, I don't even know, but just, like that feeling of like pushing myself, even though like I knew I was exhausted anyway. And clearly the energy of the reading knew that too, because it was like, no, bitch, like, no, you're not, you're done. So I'm rested. The energy is available. The energy is back. So let's see what the energy is for Pisces. We have Father Sky. Trust in the unknown. Love that. I'm just like kind of staring at this eagle, and I just keep hearing freedom, Freedom from what? I don't know, but let's see. Also, I love the message of trusting in the unknown. All right, let's see. Let's get 6 cards. We have the 5 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, and the 10 of Cups. What did I say? The 5 of Wands. Is that what I said? The universe or the world. Love that, paired with the 5 of Wands. And then we have the Father of Cups or the King of Cups and the High Priestess. I have yet to even see the High Priestess come out in these readings yet, so I'm happy to see her. Justice at the bottom of the deck, Mother of Pentacles, the Sun, Mother of Wands, Strength. Okay. Beautiful. I kind of want to see what the book says about Father Sky. Okay. You look at the card. I will read from the book. Trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it needs to. You have a personal relationship with the Great Father. Know that He is lovingly leading you forward. Father Sky is a native name. Father Sky is a name the Native Americans and many other indigenous tribes have given to God. So this card represents the universal powers that are masculine in essence. the energies that people have called out to and looked up to in times of need and gratitude. Father Sky personifies your relationship with the masculine energies of the divine and possibly a very powerful male or father figure too. You are a co-creator of your life, and every thought, feeling, intention, and emotion you have is creating the road ahead. With that being said, you don't need to know every single detail of what is going to unfold before you. When this card appears, you are being guided to step back and get out of your own way, because there is a greater power that is not only around you but within you, and Father Sky is creating the best experience imaginable for you. Accepting this will allow miraculous energy to come into your life. So see things from a higher perspective, like the eagle on the card. So see things from a higher perspective, like the eagle on the card. This card can also appear when there are opportunities to improve the father connection in your life. If your father figure is in heaven, know that his spirit is drawing close. If he is on earth, there's an opportunity to heal something, whether past or present. And just as soon as I started reading about that card, I just kind of heard in my head, Sky Daddy. You know how some people, that's what they call God, if you believe in God or any type of higher power. If you can hear my wash or my dryer in the background, I apologize. Life life is happening, but hopefully it's not annoying. So this is beautiful because I love that. Well, I love that we start with the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands can be conflict. It can be competition too. Wands are fire. Fire has to do with motivation. It's the steps that we're taking towards our goals. I also see them as being information, because by trying things and getting our hands onto things, right? We learn what works, we learn what doesn't, we learn what we like, we learn what we don't like. So it's information, and we're even better able to explain and communicate those things also. There's a creativity and passion aspect that comes with Wands. So it's also about what actions are you taking towards those things? How are you communicating about those things? And anytime I see the Five of Wands, I think of Mulan. Because it's when they're in warrior training, that's the Five of Wands. It's that muscle memory thing, and you have to keep trying it in order to figure it out. I mean, even look at this card too. This arrow that's in the bow is going the wrong way, or it's placed the wrong way. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the other way around. I'm no expert, I'm no pro, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the other way around. So that's all things, right, that you learn by doing. So my analogy with Mulan, right, they're an effing mess, right? The prince or whatever he's called is oh my gosh, there's no way I can get these people ready for battle. And then Mulan basically steps up and, kind of becomes that role model. And then all of a sudden it shifts and, and then basically we move on to the Six of Wands, which is victory and success, after turbulation. So it's like training in a certain sense, conditioning, and I love that it is paired with the universe card or the world card, because that to me is saying that whatever this is, if you have been going through a time that has felt like this, where, maybe nothing has really worked out, maybe you felt like you did have to be a bit more competitive or, kind of put a bit more
fire under your own ass or other people in your life, then with it paired with a world card, that's coming to an end. That period of time, at least for this specific experience, is coming to an end, because the world card does signify the end of a cycle. It says that what you needed to get out of a situation, out of a journey, you got. And the energy is available now, to recognize like all of the lessons that you have learned through the Five of Wands, and take that with you onto the next thing, whatever the next thing is. And then we have the Ten of Swords. Swords having to do with our minds, thoughts, our perceptions, how we view our reality, ideas. Also, communication, like how are we communicating our ideas? How are we communicating our thoughts, our concerns? There's also a level of like truth and honesty that comes with the swords, because it's logic, so it kind of like deals in like fact. I also see swords as being our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is, in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences and feelings, whether they were stories that we created based on an experience, or whether they were imprinted onto us by, somebody else, a guardian, a sibling, a parent, a teacher, somebody who had authority, or like an adult figure that was around us, because it's generally in childhood where all of this happens. And then we basically just kind of like continue to like live the same story cycle. So with the Ten of Swords, and specifically in this Ten of Swords, we can clearly see that there's this like dead bird here. But then there's like all of this junk that's like inside of this bird. There's a spring, there's a chain, a bottle cap, there's a safety pin. I'm trying to see what else. There's also obviously 10 swords in there. So it's kind of like, and when we get to the 10, a 10 is a completion. So when we get to the 10 of Swords, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, like you have thought about every which way a thing could go. And it's almost like with the representation of all of this, I think it's junk. It could just be, like it could even be sentimental, like one person's junk is another person's treasure type of thing, right? I have a whole box of sentimental stuff. And if anybody were to look into that box, it would be like, this is garbage. Like, why do you still have this all the way from like the 90s? But it has sentimental value to me though, right? Like, so that could even be all of the things that are like in this dead bird, and specifically like this was even saying like with a father figure or grandfather, or, somebody who kind of had that role in your life. There could be something that you are even deconditioning here, like really working through your own stuff. And maybe you're working through your own stuff with or having to do with this other person. You don't necessarily have to be specifically sitting down with them and having, kind of therapeutic discussions or whatever. You can. And if you can, that's great. I'm kind of jealous of that because I can't. But I could, but I can't, is what I mean. It could even be just going through like your own stuff, what stays, what goes. It could even be like so deep as to what makes me who I am, like how did I even come into this identity? How did I develop this personality? Right? Like that's a trip if you go down that road and really start peeling back, those layers of yourself. It does take a high level of objectivity. So it could be that, but also it's paired with the Father of Cups. So it's funny that we have two fathers out here, the Father Sky and Father of Cups. And the King of Cups specifically is Pisces, I believe. And the High Priestess also has some connection to Pisces. I think it depends on like who you ask too. But for the purpose of this reading, since we're talking about Pisces, I'm going to say it's associated to Pisces. It's also associated to Cancer because I believe that it's, ruled by the moon. And traditionally, like in astrology, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So, anyway, going back to the King of Cups, the Kings are the highest expression of the suit, right? So they've gone through the whole shebang, from the 1 to the 10, from the page to the King. So even like I was talking about with this Five of Wands, there's this level of understanding on the emotional side of things, because cups have to do with our emotions, right? How do we feel about things? How do we feel about ourselves? What's our relationship to love? Not just romantic love. I think a lot of people, like, that's kind of the primary focus is on romantic love, but not on this channel. Not here. Here we talk about, and we're more concerned about your relationship to yourself. Like, what is your relationship to love? How do you give yourself love? And how are you able then to express it to other people? It's like, you can only love as deeply, you can only love somebody else as deeply as you love yourself. Truly, though. Anything else it's like transactional. Like if you are people pleasing and, totally compromising yourself in order to show love or, like give love to somebody else in a way that you think is acceptable, it's transactional, because then it's like you're expecting something in return. You're expecting acknowledgement, or you're expecting your cup to be filled in return in some capacity. So, again, it's like, what is your own like relationship to love, and how do you give yourself that first and foremost before you're able to give it to other people? And the Father of Cups would understand that too. Because like I said, the King is the highest expression of the suit. So there's an emotional maturity. Even like being like level-headed is like coming to mind. And I'm also just even looking at this card and how there's this cup that looks like it's overturned, upside down, and it could be. But what's also interesting, I just realized, and I've looked at this card multiple times, but I just realized that the image that's inside of the King of Cups is actually upside down, which is interesting. That is so interesting to just like realize that for the first time. It's like this feeling of like what's up is down and what's down is up, like. So again, even with this 10 of Swords, like if there is something that you are like unpacking, whether that does have to do with a father figure, or just even how, like that father figure could have affected your life and your decisions and your thought processes and stuff like that, it is creating this emotional maturity though. And maybe it's even like being open-minded, because, it's not like one size fits all anyway with anything. So that's interesting. But then we have the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is a minor arcana card to the Sun card. It's like everything feels good. Everything is awesome. From the Lego movie. It's like everything fits. We have these stack of glasses here. They're not leaning. They fit together perfectly, even if, they're all different shapes and sizes. So even if they don't look like they can or should fit together and work, they do. Also, again, with tens, right? I mean, 10 is a completion. And tens also tend to involve other people. Nines are when we recognize the energy within ourselves, there's individual completion. We recognize that we've reached a place of either success or contentment or resolution in some capacity. And then when there's the 10 involved, then it's like, there's other people. It's like community or family or, peers. And even, in the 10 of Swords with the sentimental value, I mean, obviously, sentimental value generally involves memories like with other people. Not necessarily every single time, but there's a good amount of other people involved in that. So, the 10 of Cups is family, whether biological or chosen. It's community, it's networking. And like I said, it's like everybody feels purposeful, everybody feels fulfilled. There's a place for everything. So even whatever this process is, even if it's work, like it could be a relationships. Obviously, take it how it resonates. But it's like finally, like everything kind of has its place. And then with the High Priestess, I see the High Priestess as being that direct connection to our star player. For me, it's higher self. It could be God. For you, if you, like I said before, if you believe in God or a higher power, it could be divine source. It could just be if you don't necessarily have a connection to a higher power or higher self, it can be your direct connection to your intuition, because we all have it. The Father of Cups is also very connected to their intuition. And I do believe that Pisces is very intuitive. This is almost like, the secrets of the universe type of thing. And the book was talking about allowing things to unfold. I love the relation between the universe and the High Priestess card. Just really just like the sky aspect. It's definitely nighttime, clearly. And, there's both of these have like some colors in the sky. But then also in the High Priestess, almost this image of like Sky Daddy, like also, because there's this eye here that could be represented by the all-seeing eye, which also has a connection to God. It could be third eye because, these little crescents look like eyes being closed, and this would be technically where your third eye chakra would be. So again, even that just connection to like your own inner knowing. It has like this feeling of just knowing like what's next. And I love that like these last three cards are all water cards. So definitely it's like, connecting to that water power, being a water sign, connecting to the emotional aspect of, like creativity or passion or, whatever you are spending your time doing. And then we have the Justice card at the bottom of the deck, which is associated to Libra. But this is, the scales balancing, fate, karma. It's kind of that like getting what you deserve, good or bad type of thing. Like justice doesn't really take sides because it is objective. We have this sword of truth going right down the middle of the black and white. It's like, there's very little gray area here. And justice has to be objective, right? It has to be based solely on fact, because if we start inserting emotion and belief into justice, then it becomes an opinion. So it's like, fact is, what we can prove, what we can see, which I'm not going to lie is kind of interesting that we have the High Priestess and Father Sky out here, because I mean, it might be a controversial take, but and I'm only saying this because 2 seconds ago I said, like justice has to be, it's fact. What can we prove? What can we see? And it's like, is there proof of a sky daddy? Is there proof of a higher power? So, anyway, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Karma is involved in this. I don't know if I said that already. That's kind of where, like the getting what you deserve, good or bad thing comes into play. But again, right? I mean, it's also like balance and fairness. There's equal parts on each side of, on each side of the black and the white. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Pentacles having to do with our money, time, our physical body, resources available to us, materials available to us. The Queen of Pentacles is also like very grounded, very nurturing. Queens are when we recognize we embody the energy of the suit within ourselves. The Sun card, hello, like I said, the Ten of Cups being the minor arcana card to the Sun card, and here it is. This is associated to Leo. This is everything good. It's joy, it's bliss, it's feeling good about the things around you, like having a positive outlook. It's also about like illumination. So there could be something that is being illuminated positively. And especially after with this coming after the Justice card, and we have the Queen of Wands. So there's some type of something going on within you that is being illuminated here, or even revived, because the Sun also has an energy of like rejuvenation. I mean, we need the Sun, right? Like, I mean, I think there's like some statistic that like 70 or 80% of Americans, because I mean that's where I am, are deficient in vitamin D. And vitamin D, like deficiency leads to depression and some other kind of biological things like happening. So it could even be a message about getting a bit more sun. The Mother of Wands, again, action, communication. There's this confidence aspect. It feels like, and anytime I see this card, it feels like getting a backbone. Not to say that you don't have one, but have you been using it? Boundaries, right? Then the Strength card, which is also Leo. Big Leo vibes. Determination, it's that inner strength. I also, with this wand going up the center of the Mother of Wands and then this snake, this always reminds me, anytime I see a snake like this anyway, think of Kundalini. Because, I mean, that starts in the root and then it goes up. And we have this, kind of pelvis bone here. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Oh, and I'm trying to get better at these like self plugs. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, you're amazing. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video. I mean, honestly, dislike it if that is your truth. It's engagement and I appreciate it. But my intention is to grow this beautiful community, and obviously I can't do that without you. So, any one of those things would help me just get recognized by the YouTube algorithm. And I don't know, I guess that's it. Thank you again for allowing me to read your cards. I love being part of these journeys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.